computing.
There we go. That took its.
Hey, look.
That took its sweet time.
Says it's going live.
All right.
Cool.
I even hit start stream this time. Oh, welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 290. Your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, usually some Star Trek. Did you watch episode 1?
I am
You!
behind.
Oh! It was
I know.
It was good. It was really good. Where did I leave off? Sometimes some Star
Probably
Trek.
some Star Trek.
All super chats are on the air, so long as they will not permanently demonetize the channel. We do drink alcohol on the show, and if you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat, and we'll give some early show shoutouts as we go along. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. The link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to the Discord server, where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out over there. And here we go.
Let's do this. All right. I'm still playing catch up. I literally just pulled in and ran into the studio. And I was like, I gotta set this up. I forgot.
We had 60 seconds to spare. I don't know why you were...
Why I know. I could have gone to the restroom. It's fine.
Yeah, we got a good morning from Denmark. Hello. How's it going? We've got a morning from the UK.
Oh, yeah. UK.
Awesome. All right. John, how's it going?
Not too bad, actually. It's stuff slowed down to a pretty, instead of rush pace, and I'm overworked, to now it's still busy, but it's pretty evenly paced.
Good.
And so I'm kept busy. So yeah.
That's my favorite place to be. There's always something to do. There's always something to but you're not slammed.
Yes, I'm not slammed. Everything's like, oh, you have a big list of stuff, but everything is like, yeah, none of this is a priority. So I can take my time on individual ones.
Right. Yeah, that's where I like to be. The last month, I've been slammed. And the next 2 months are going to be slammed, too. It's just like everything just kind of piling on all at once. But eventually, I won't be slammed anymore, and that'll be nice. Anyway, we'll start with a little bit of housekeeping tonight, and then I think we'll open some beer. Have a note from the producer here, believe it or not, related to craftcomputing.store. So, I just wanted to give a brief update of the store. First off, we've shipped over 200 orders, so number one, freaking yes. Thank you, everyone. That is awesome. Keep it coming. Haven't heard anything negative about any products. Haven't heard anything positive about any products either. If you received a product, let me know what you think. Honestly, I want to hear feedback. If it's good, I want to hear that. If it's bad, I want to know how I can make it better. That's always what I'm about. Nothing that I produce is ever set in stone because this is 100% in-house print on demand. Everything that we do is done one-off. So if you liked something, let me know. If you didn't like something, let me know that too, because I want to make good products. So your feedback is very welcome always. Current turnaround time for the store is right around 5 to 7 days from order received to shipping. Again, we are essentially print on demand, and we keep a couple of orders out in front of us, but we usually try to catch up on the weekend and then kind of accordion back and forth from there. If you need an item by a specific date, because we received 2 complaints that it took 2 weeks to ship, and I was ordering for a birthday present or a bachelor party or something like that, email us and we can rush it. Because we're print on demand, it's first come, first serve. But if you need a specific date, let us know, and we'll do our best to accommodate that. Sometimes we don't have the product on hand, which is why some products take a little bit longer, but do let us know. Special requests are very welcome. Merch at craftcomputing.net. If you have a question, let us know. If you have feedback, let us know.
And if you're on the Discord, you can let us know that way too.
Yeah, ping me. We've had some issues with shipping calculation, where our shipping calculation is obscenely high. Just to let everyone know, if you placed an order and your shipping was even more than like $3 more than my actual cost, we're automatically refunding that. We received a couple orders to like Pennsylvania, and the shipping was like $55 calculated on the site. I think I paid $13. So we cut a couple people like $40 checks. Just like, take your money back. We don't want shipping money. That's not how I make my money here. If you go to place an order and you think the shipping is too high, please let us know. Email craftcomputing or merch at craftcomputing.net. Let us know. We are trying to address all of these issues as they come in. We haven't really been able to narrow down what is causing some of this, because most of the time it's bang on. It's within $1. But we've had a couple where it's just like obscenely overpriced. And not just for Australia, but for like everywhere. So let us know. If we also offer international shipping, and the rates should be affordable. It should not be prohibitive to you ordering even internationally. If you get a shipping quote that is obscene, let us know what you wanted to order. We can actually seek third-party shipping quotes and send you an invoice directly through our website. So don't think because it's calculating high that we can't still work with it. You're still going to get, website protection, credit protection, all that kind of stuff. But we want it to be affordable. That's my bottom line with everything about the site is I wanted it to be affordable, because nothing irritates me more than going to order a pint glass from a favorite creator and it being $35 after shipping for a single pint glass. No one wants that. So I don't want that either. If something arrives broken, send us a pic, we'll replace it. Simple as that. Out of over 200 orders, I think we've only received 2 where we had some rocks glasses break. And again, let us know, we'll fulfill it. Done. No questions asked at all. Yeah, that's about it. So
cool. Easy peasy.
Technically, your slate coaster designs are set in stone. Technically. Elmo wants a bottle opener with a darker wood handle. I will look around. I will see what I can find. Or I can wood burn the ones that we have and make it custom darker. That's not a problem. Let's see. How do I get the bluey shirt that I wore in the Chinese X99 MOBA video? We got that on Amazon. It's like $15. My kids and I, everyone here loves Bluey, and that's probably one of the best quotes is Magic Claw has no children, his days are free and easy. So yeah, feedback always welcome, questions always welcome. Merch at craftcomputing.net, or if you're on the Discord, just DM me. Like that's part of the reason I'm there. So
yep. We got a couple drinks. We got Tech Guy is drinking a Bell's Big Hearted Imperial IPA 9.5.
Nice.
Harley is having a Lemonade Crystal Light right now, but then soon to be having a Juice Force later.
Ooh.
Another 9.5. And then Jason is having a Cosmic Cold Brew by Block 15.
Block 15, I know them. Yes.
Yes.
Someone else had a cold brew. Roy had cold brew coffee concentrate and sugar milk. I have been on a cold brew kick lately. I've been doing my own cold brew at home, and it has been fantastic. I've always been like an iced coffee guy, but I'd go to Starbucks or Dutch Brothers or one of the local places, and yeah, give me iced coffee. And it's like That was $7 I didn't need to spend. So I've been making my own cold brew, and it's been wonderful.
Have you tried those casked kettle coffee bundles that actually have?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. So I thought I put it in like the news a couple weeks ago, but it's a company called Cask Kettle, and they're K cups, but they're alcoholic coffee K cups.
You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
All right, there. I just put it in the Discord.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, yeah. I saw that at the liquor store the other day. They're about $20, and you get 6. But 75 proof, 60 proof. So, not like it's a 5%, 6%,
right.
beverage. It's pretty decent.
Yeah. That's impressive.
So,
yeah.
You can go make yourself a cold brew out of that.
Yeah, there we go. A couple years ago, I did a cold brew whiskey.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
That was phenomenal. I'm gonna have to do that again. But yeah, no, I had all the stuff to do cold brew, and then I did the whiskey once, and it's like, yeah, that was fun, but I'm just gonna go back to paying $7 for iced coffee again. And like a month ago, I went, this is really stupid. I should just make coffee. Anyway, beer. We do drink beer on the show.
We do.
Let's get to it. I've got a bomber tonight. I've just got one beer.
Going big.
Going big. Now it's only an 8.1%.
Oh, okay.
But it's a 3-year aged, bottled in 2020. Okay. From Bakeside, Bellwether. Have you had this one?
Ooh, I don't think I have.
Yeah, Breakside Bellwether out of Portland. Blended sour double wit ale, aged in gin barrels with Thai, lime, coriander, orange peel, and chamomile.
Ooh, what was that one called? It was Breakside, and then what was the
Bellwether? Bellwether.
Oh, there it is.
Ooh.
I have not. No, sir.
I hope it's still good because, man, that had some pressure on the cap.
Did you get okay? And yeah, gin barrel aged.
Yeah, nice. Gin barrel aged with Thai, lime, coriander, orange peel, and chamomile.
That does sound delicious. See, someone has a.
Yeah, John, it's hot.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're gonna be waiting a while. All right. Well, I will then introduce my beer while we wait for yours.
Right. I might have to get another glass and pour this off very slowly.
So I'm doing a collaboration beer, but the primary one is Toppling Goliath, one of my personal favorites.
Yes.
It's Electric Dino Boogie. So this is kind of off of their Pseudo Sue,
right?
But it's a collaboration with Pint House.
Okay.
So I believe this is. I don't know what the percent was. Juicy double IPA 7.8. So nothing like huge. I like how we say like when something's 7 or 8%. It's not that big. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's not a big beer. I can have like 2 or 3 of these. They're fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got it halfway. I will say my nucleated glass is not helping the situation.
It's loading. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Ooh, that's nice.
By the way, John, we need to start carrying some Hops and Brews merch too.
Oh, there we go. I mean, that's fine. I need see what I need to do. I need the pint glass though, because I need to put it in some of my videos.
Right. So, I mean, I have the glasses. I have the laser.
Yeah, what we should do is I've been wanting to do it for a while because I've seen some traction on it again. Is that remember the flip?
Yes.
I've seen some other social media posts about that, and so for some reason it's gaining traction again.
Steve and I were actually talking about doing a flip a couple weeks ago on the show about Oh, it was. I got the Todd Stashwick Mystic Libations cocktail book, the D&D cocktail book,
Oh, okay.
and the very first drink recipe in it is essentially a flip. It's a stout cocktail. You take a full 12 ounces of dragon's milk,
Okay.
and
I'm
then
already enjoying it.
4 ounces of a chocolate port.
That's interesting. Yeah. So basically, you're just making it super chocolatey and
Yes. Yeah.
you're turning basically that into oh, not, I was gonna say Harry Potter, but that's an IPA. What comes out? Goose Island. You're basically
Oh
turning it
yeah.
into like a thick Goose Island style, double barrel aged
Yeah,
porter or
pretty
something.
much. Yes.
And then I'm betting the hot rod will just make it even sweeter.
Yeah, it didn't mention doing the hot rod or anything like that, but yeah, that would burn off some of the alcohol and caramelize a lot of that chocolate and sugar and whatnot. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we could try one with and one without. Like,
yeah. Well, that was I was thinking of doing like a lineup of the best beer to do, or stick a hot rod in. Is it a lager? Is it an IPA? Is it a stout? Is it a sour? Which one actually benefits it? And then on top of that, I'm having a shipment of new pickle beers coming in, Jeff. So you have to come. Watermelon and pickle.
I've got a pellet gun. I can take care of the pickle beers.
See, that's the whole thing. We need to do one, and then we'll go to your scene. We'll go to my farm. We'll just take the shotgun. You just there's my sample tasting.
That's right.
I had it. This is what I think of your pickle beer.
Oh God, I can still smell it. Damn.
I got on my hand.
We're making progress. We're making progress. Look at the bubble action, though. I don't know if you can quite make it out on camera.
No, it's kind of.
It's like a forest fire down below.
Oh yeah, I can actually see it. Yes, I can. Oh man.
Yeah.
And you basically have a meringue top head.
Yeah. No, it's not going anywhere either. Like,
it's a dessert. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna make you cough.
It tried to.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump into the news. Starting with, we are at the beginning of the end, my friends. The monitor technology of choice for nearly 20 years is coming to an end. That's right, LCDs, liquid crystal displays. There's a couple companies now who have pretty much signed their death waiver or death warrant. Samsung was probably the first major manufacturer that stopped developing LCDs, and in fact last year they closed all of their LCD production. They don't make LCDs anymore. All they make is micro LEDs, OLEDs, etc. So-called self-emissive displays. Self-light generating without the need for a secondary backlight. Well, if it's to be believed, or sorry, that was Samsung that did it. LG is now following in their footsteps of no longer developing LCD technology. There was a development in IPS display panels, that is in-plane switching, which is probably the most common type of LCD that's out there right now. Back in March for LG, that is supposed to deliver richer blacks and more accurate color. And that'll make its way out, but after that, they're kind of closing shop on LCD development. And so this is at least the second major OEM of displays that's pulling the rug.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, right now they're, pretty much the thing that's taking over is probably what everyone knows is the OLEDs. It was going to take over, and I think the reason the LCDs lasted longer because, I mean, they were cheap to make. It was right now. What is it? Every Black Friday, you sit there and see 50-inch LCD 4K TV, $150.
Yeah, $230 regular price for like 55 and 60-inch LCD TVs right now.
Yeah, that's great. So everyone got a big TV. And what was it? 10 years ago, they were $500 to $1,000 for that brand because it was new. And OLED now is starting to come down in price to around that price point again of the new technology. And soon, in probably 5 years, it will be the new $500, $400 to buy a really good like QLED, super sharp, and the next whatever thing they'll come up with. But yeah, so you know your ultra TVs with these nice QLED, QLED,
OLED, micro LED.
Yeah,
all the acronyms.
Gosh, I know it's so hard to keep remembering. They're just now in a consumer. Now it's coming down to, you just want size or do you want actually a quality picture? And the market is now stating we want quality picture,
right? And
that's pretty much what's going. I mean, this came the way of the DVD and then the Blu-ray, you know, the DVD and the VHS. So over time, it just takes over.
Yep.
Now there'll still be LCD panel TVs around because there's still going to be off brands that are probably going to be having it, and you don't really know the quality because it's probably going to be coming from a really bad factory.
Well, yes and no, because there's only so many LCD manufacturers in the world. So you've got Sharp, LG, Samsung, etc. Samsung's not making LCDs anymore. All they're making is OLEDs, micro LED, etc. LG has now said they're going to stop making LCDs probably within the next year or two. Especially since they're ceasing R&D on it. That leaves just a couple of smaller manufacturers. And so it's not that the reason TV panels have gotten so cheap is because manufacturing scale has gotten to the point where you can buy a Samsung panel and put a cheaper display driver on it, you know, have a B grade panel that doesn't quite meet the upper end specs, and so you can sell it to a smaller OEM, and you know, all of a sudden your Hisense Walmart TV is available at 65-inch for $300.
Yeah,
that is the economy of scale. But Hisense isn't making their own LCD panels; they're buying them from LG, Sharp, Panasonic, you know, Samsung, etc. So once those quantity of panels dies out, you're going to start seeing those manufacturers switch to OLED or other display technologies.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I what I meant was, I guess, was more they'll be the ones that you still see in the market, and it'll take a lot longer to die out because you're going to have the Samsungs, the Sonys at a decent, reasonable price. And those off brands, you're not really going to see a good big size. They're still going to be probably hanging around that 24 to 40-inch screens, you know, for that office, that brand new company that has an office and they need a 30-inch screen for the waiting room or something like that. I mean, they're not going to go and spend $800 for people to sit around and watch the, you know, some cable channel news or their computer rotate ads for them. They're going to spend $100 on some cheap monitor.
Yeah.
So it's just going to take longer. I think they'll last around a little bit longer, but it's just going to take longer for them to die out. And I guess that's what was really more my point. Yeah, they will. Right. There's only going to be a limited amount, but because no one's going to be buying them, they're going to seem like they're still around and still being produced by these smaller manufacturers, but they're really not. No one's buying them. They're just a backstock in the back.
It's either backstock or, you know, they're leaving those factories running, so Samsung is still producing LCD panels until they decide to shut it down and repurpose that factory for OLED, which all of that takes time. So, I mean, it's not like, you know, next year you're not going to be able to find a single LCD panel. It's just that the writing's kind of on the wall for the technology where, superior technologies are finally winning out. We went through this a couple of times in our lifetime, John, with CRTs and the switch to LCDs, and it was a painful transition a couple of different times because obviously CRT was the dominant technology for 40-50 years, and then they started taking, if you remember big screens TVs from when we were a kid, the old Zeniths and Toshibas and whatnot, with the 70s wood front on them that you had to sit directly in front of to see the picture.
Well, the screens had those indented lines. Yeah. Off. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those were actually CRT projection. That was instead of projecting through or onto a phosphor reflective screen, it was reflecting onto a set of mirrors, which then projected onto the back of a panel. But that was still a CRT based technology. It's just you can get them in 60 and 65 inch sizes. CRTs started dying on the TV front as far as like the glass front TVs before they started dying on big screen TVs. And so for a while, you could buy, high definition CRT, 720p, 540i type screens. But CRT was still the dominant player in big screen market until DLP started winning out. Yeah. And DLP projection with either LCD or some other type of backing technology. John, you're the only other one that I remember that still has a Mitsubishi Diamond Series DLP. Yeah, I had a 68. I think you had a 75 or something like that.
I had a 65. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I still actually in my attic. I still have my 3D glass set, 3D glasses, and the transmitter.
Nice.
I'm like, what am I gonna do with these
for the 3 movies you can ever watch on them?
I know. I was like, Avatar.
We had Avatar, we had Monsters Inc., and I think we had Despicable Me.
It was like Avatar, and there was one other one, and I got sick within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Of watching it, and then also at the time, it was I think it was a PlayStation 3 had some 3D games, or it was that or the Wii U. It was Assassin's Creed. What was the one where he was in America?
That was 3.
3.
Yeah.
And they released that in 3D for that, and I was like, but it was 30 frames or like 20 frames per second.
Yeah.
I'm just like, blah. And you can't see the edges. Like everything's blurry around it. Just has this halo. Like, the center's cool. Where's my inventory?
Yeah.
What is it? It was totally worth the $100 to buy the glass.
Yeah. Gosh, I think I got mine. I got mine on Craigslist. I remember that much.
I got mine used.
Yeah, I got my TV used. It was right when plasma was starting to die and LCD was starting to take over, and I'm like, hey, I want a big TV, but I don't want to pay $3,000 for a 65 inch. Let's get on Craigslist. Let's find a DLP that needs a new bulb. Bam, found a Mitsubishi 68 inch Diamond, like the best one they've ever made. 1080p, 120 hertz, gorgeous. And I think it was $175. Had the TV, the remote, 4 pairs of glasses, and the transmitter, and a Blu-ray player.
Ooh.
So I got like everything for like $175.
You made out.
And then like $150 for a bulb, and that was my TV for the next 6 or 7 years.
How many bulbs did you go through?
I think just 2. I think we bought one when we got the TV, and then I think I did one more.
Okay. When I went through 2 after because they still had the factory one in there. So I went 2 after that. The first one I bought, it blew within like 6 months.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, whatever. We had that TV almost 10 years.
Yeah.
That was like I remember that was close to one of the big first purchases. Like we were engaged, and we're like, oh, we're gonna need a TV.
Yeah.
All right, let's. I want a big TV. I want a big TV in this tiny townhouse.
Gosh. When my wife and I got married, we had a 27-inch CRT. And I think, gosh, how did that progression go? At one point, I traded a couple of things. I did like red paperclip, where I'd get like something for $10 at Goodwill, and next thing you know, you're trading it for like $1,000 item.
Trading, yeah.
Yeah, so I traded up and up and up, and wound up with like a Bose Wave radio that I think I paid. End result was like I paid $10 and then traded up, and then eventually had a Bose Wave radio for the $10 that I'd spent. And some guy was getting rid of a Toshiba 55-inch CRT projection screen. I'm like, I want a big TV. I'm tired of the 27. I want a big TV. Yeah. And so I traded a Bose Wave radio that I essentially got for $10 for that TV. So we had that one. Eventually I got a Panasonic 42-inch DLP, which was my first HD TV. It was 720p. But it was terrible. Like it was better picture quality than the Toshiba, but it was also like overdriven and overscanned, and so
Did you say the Samsung?
Panasonic.
Oh, Panasonic. Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was given a Samsung for a while after ours broke.
Yeah. No, I gave away the Toshiba to a friend of mine, and then got this Panasonic, again trading and begging and borrowing and stealing and things like that. I think I had inherited a computer for like $50, wound up putting like $50 in parts into it, traded that for an unopened Xbox 360 Halo edition. With the controllers and the gold tinting and everything else, and ended up trading that console for the Panasonic screen for the TV. I'm like, I already have an Xbox 360. I don't care if it's green and gold. But yeah, that's how I got that. But yeah, that screen was both gorgeous and terrible, because if you tried to put like an actual 1280 by 720 image on it, it would overscan everything by like 5 or 8%. And so if you wanted to run Windows on it, you literally couldn't see the window border. It would just like it was awful, and there was no setting for it. That was just the way it was.
So you had to go into your graphics card, customize, squeeze it in.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything looked always off.
Yeah, just make sure not to maximize your windows and you're fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, how's your beer treating you?
Good. It's smooth. It's nice. It's not overly harsh. Honestly, I didn't remember the ABV. I was hoping for a bit more.
Yeah.
Simcoe, Citra, and Galaxy. It just slight hop burn, just slight.
Okay. Yeah, I know Pseudo Sue is usually a real thick, juicy style IPA. So I was kind of wondering, if they haze it up a bit, what would it be like?
It's not as juicy as, because this is supposed to be the double, so this would be like the King Sue.
Right.
It's
okay.
not. It's not as juicy as the King Sue. It definitely feels more subdued. Because yeah, the regular one is just it's a hazy pale.
Yeah.
The Pseudo Sue. It's a great barbecue beer, but unfortunately, it's like kind of expensive for like, I think it's like a 5 or 6%, and you're still paying $5. It's like,
ooh, yeah.
For $1 more, I can get their double IPA, which is under. But so they do this thing to where like it's their double IPA, but it's 7.9%. It's like, is that really?
You're splitting hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
technically imperial, but not
technically. We do need to do a trade, because my stuff is stocking up. I got their triple for you.
Oh, nice.
I have a couple barrel aged things. I gave you, I think I gave it to you. I gave you the coconut Hefeweizen, right? A long time ago. It was called El Jefe. El Jeff.
It sounds, yes.
Okay,
yes.
all right. I got some more of those coming in too,
Nice.
and so I was like,
no, I've got some for you. I still have the bunny with a chainsaw.
Oh yeah.
I've got the red and golden nail variants of Dragon's Milk for you.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. I've got those. I've got a couple others too. Like,
all right. Well,
so.
we're doing. I think we're doing. I don't know. Wife and I want to do not a 4th of July barbecue because everyone's doing their own 4th of July thing.
Right.
But like a summer barbecue with like people that have kids, because we went and bought this new like blow up water slide thing.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Like, anyone that has kids is like, oh, come, it's so, you know, and it's like, oh, let's all drink beer and have burgers.
Yes.
Do something like that.
My favorite kind of afternoon.
Right? Yeah, I know. Just kids, go do something else.
Yep.
You're entertained. You can see me once every 45 minutes.
Yeah. So this one, it's very much like a gosé. It's very, very.
Well, I bet the gin.
Yeah, it's right there. So this was specifically aged in Old Tom gin barrels, and so it's less junipery, more. Not really going for the. Gosh, how do I explain this? If you know what Old Tom gin is, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what Old Tom. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very much that with just a little extra salt. And like the sour ale in it is almost like a melon rind kind of taste. I really want to like this, but I'm having a really hard time doing it. like the flavors themselves are pretty good, but just maybe not together.
Okay, so wait, you got a wheat beer, so it's like a sour half.
Right, you got a sour half with a little bit of melon on it.
Melon.
You've got a little bit of Old Tom gin. You've got some salt. It's like, and individually.
I thought so. Okay, are you trying to say like though that the melon, the lime, because there was a particular type of lime, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Tastes more like a melon than a lime.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Because see, to me, that sounds like, oh, this is gonna be like a sour gin tonic,
right?
Or possibly.
Yeah.
But now, but now it's the melon.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, though, it could taste fine.
Yeah. I don't dislike it. I just want to like it more than I do, because if you gave me this and you said, yeah, it's a gin and tonic beer, I'd be okay. But I see that. I'm also not pulling out the chamomile and the orange peel and the coriander. Like those are all just like, there's nothing chamomile there. Yeah. I bet the chamomile with the other stuff. Yeah. That could mess some things up. I could see. And then you said it was aged. Was it aged in your fridge or pre-aged in bottle? Aged in my fridge.
Ah, that could be it.
And again, it came out a little hot, remember? So
yes. So that means there was extra fermentation.
Yes. Yeah. And it's definitely, you can tell it's been brewing a little longer than.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that 8.5% is actually probably more like 9%, 9.5%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not bad. It could be better.
Let me put it this way then. Is it good enough to keep for the rest of the show where you don't open a second one?
You know, I'm not hating just sipping on it.
Right.
And it is a bomber. Like,
oh, you still got some left.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm probably going to be drinking this the rest of the show.
So we'll see at the end. You need a couple 12-ounce cans in your fridge of like lighter stuff. I personally, I started finding that I even need like lighter beers around because there's just I want to drink and I want to sip on it, but I don't want an imperial. Yeah, I don't want a big old stout, and I don't want to have a cocktail. So I just want a nice pale,
Yeah.
Sierra Nevada pale.
Yeah. I've been doing all day IPA and pub beer.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I open the fridge and it's like, no, we don't have any Gatorade, we don't have any cranberry juice. All right, triple IPA, and it's like,
yes, exactly.
You can't do that every day.
I know. It's like I don't want that. I want something, and I find actually if I sip on even a lower ABV beer now, I'm actually enjoying that closer to the end because I'm tasting like the little complexities that they're putting on the malt build of these lower ABVs. The aromatics of the hops really start to come out, or at least develop differently.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of I'm kind of tired of like 9-10% beers all the time, and that's all I drink.
Yep.
Which is still fun, but yeah, it has its place.
It totally. All right. Next story. This is actually one that I'm pretty excited about because right to repair, longevity, there's no reason to throw away things because of a dead battery. Can you imagine having to sell your car or sell it for parts because you couldn't buy tires anymore, or they used a specific battery chemistry that your car wasn't compatible with? Because that day's coming. European
BMW.
European Union just passed a mandate that smartphones must all have user replaceable batteries by 2027. And I am here for it. Now, what does user replaceable mean? Because technically you can, delaminate your iPhone screen and heat up the adhesive on the battery and then try not to puncture it when you're lifting. No, user replaceable, simple tools. Screwdriver, click to unlock. The end of list. That is what user serviceable means. No special tools, no special techniques. Anyway, to quote PC Mag, European Union is set to usher in a new era of smartphones with batteries that consumers can easily replace, which doesn't seem like a new era of smartphones because smartphones used to have user replaceable batteries. So did phones. So did everything. And earlier this week, European Parliament approved new rules covering design, production, and recycling of all rechargeable batteries sold within the EU. This also stipulates to all electric vehicles and light means of transport, so your scooters, your e-bikes, your electric motorcycles, etc. Rechargeable industrial batteries above 2 kilowatt hours will need to have compulsory carbon footprint declaration, label, and digital passports, as well as certain repairability criteria to be sold in the EU. And kind of like as California goes, so goes the rest of the US when it comes to measures like this. As the EU goes, so does the rest of the world. So if Apple wants to do business in the EU, they're going to have to, number one, starting next year, change from Lightning to USB-C so we can just use a freaking cable to charge your iPhone. Well, in 3 more years' time, you're also going to have a user replaceable battery in your phone.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, so the reason why, at least one of the reasons why, I should say, a lot of these phones started sealing everything up was, I believe, the waterproofing features, wasn't it? And now I know the original iPhone didn't have this, but I'm thinking Androids.
No. No. That was the guys. That was the, we're going to make it waterproof, so we have to laminate everything. Yeah. No. It was Apple followed by Samsung gluing their batteries to the chassis and then going, well, why did you do that? I can take the screen out. Why is the battery? And then suddenly 2 models later, it was like, oh, we made the phones waterproof. Haha. It was a cover and a reaction, not a reason.
Well, the only reason my thought, personally, this is my personal opinion too. Never bought an Apple phone, so don't know. Never cared for them. Mm-hmm. So I always had a Samsung, and so when the Galaxies came out, I was like, oh, I like the Galaxies. And I think it was the 6 was the big one that had the water resistant up to like 7 or 10 meters.
Yeah.
And really all it was just a rubber ring around the back of the plastic case, which sealed it. But you were able to pop it off, and the battery was not glued. And I've had the 6, the 8, and now I have the 10.
I had even way before you're talking about that phone. There was the Samsung Active phones. I had one of the Actives, which was a rubber gasketed, rugged phone.
Yeah.
Guess what? The back popped right off with no screws or anything else, and you could pop the battery out.
Yeah, and so the 6 and I think the 8 were able to pop out, and it wasn't until I got to the 10, the 10 Plus, where it was like, oh, it's no longer water resistant; it's waterproof.
Yeah,
and that's what they started to claim. That's the only reason why I thought it might have been that, because that little word of saying, well, something's waterproof to water resistant, up to whatever. Now, that's what my thought is now with this, are they going to have to redesign certain features to allow or claims, I should say, to be, now it's technically cannot be waterproof because there's technically screw holes and washers and everything, seals will break.
Here's the deal, okay? As a scuba diver, I have tech that is designed to go 35 meters down. I have watches and dive computers and things like that. Guess what? They all have user serviceable batteries.
But how thick are they?
My dive watch looks just like any other watch.
Does your dive watch also like sync up to your phone and have an LCD screen to it?
The newer ones do. Mine's from like 1985. But
I'm just saying. So, but that's I guess that's kind of my point of like, okay, the whole point of newer modern tech is, it's thinner, but it also does all this other stuff. Where beforehand, older dive tech, it's waterproof and it's serviceable, but look how thick it is.
Right. And but yes, it's a sliding scale of serviceability versus reliability versus durability. You have to look at all of that. Yes, obviously, if a consumer takes the back off their phone 38 times, you're going to need to replace a gasket.
Yeah.
You need to do the same thing on your car if you replace, your cylinder heads. You need to replace your gasket if you remove that. It's still a user serviceable part. And there's still ways to, re-gasket it, no matter how thin or thick it is.
Then now here's another thought. So I agree with that. I'm thinking, I don't remember this part. Can they waive the warranty if you don't use their licensed parts?
No.
It's still technically usable. Or so with this, if you don't use an Apple part, the warranty is waived.
No, it is not.
But, okay.
The actual law, Warren, blah, 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 Warren Morrison Warranty Act, blah, blah, blah. I think. Something Warren, something Morrison Warranty Act. Is twofold. Number one, you as a user are allowed to do whatever you want to your device, to your part, to your thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The manufacturer, the warranty provider, is still required to honor the warranty on any original piece. If you replace the battery in your phone with a third-party part, they don't have to honor the warranty on the battery. They do have to warranty the rest of the phone, though. They also cannot say, well, you replaced the battery and that could have caused something to die in the phone. The onus is on them to prove it.
Yes, yeah. So, but if they could prove a faulty on the item you replaced it with.
Right.
Yes,
but the onus is on them to scientifically, irrefutably prove that Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act. Thank you. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The rhyme was there. I just couldn't quite remember the right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, I replaced the screen on my phone, and they told me that with a Samsung approved screen, but then they said, well, technically now the waterproofing warranty on the device is no longer valid. And so it's like, okay, so what does that mean?
Which,
so my thought,
which in that case, they would probably have a claim to make, because now, number two, it's still on them to prove that's why the fault happened if you make a claim based on water damage.
Yeah.
They can't just blanket statement say, you replaced the screen, we're not honoring the waterproof warranty. Mm-hmm. Unless the gasket was part of the screen and not part of the phone. If the gasket is original to the phone, that's still a Samsung part. And so you have to get into the finite language of what was replaced, what is the claim. And again, the onus is on the manufacturer, not on the consumer.
Well, so here's what I was trying to get to. The original point was, so they could theoretically then, or I wonder if this will be their play, is stating that if you buy the backs and our batteries are now replaceable and we sell these, and if you buy ours, we will honor our warranty at 100%. But the cost of these parts are fivefold.
Part of this is, I mean, there's always going to be third-party batteries. But so 2 years down the road, again, you don't need to replace a battery often under warranty claims. You're talking, years down the road, well after a warranty has expired. At that point, it's moot. It doesn't matter if it's covered by warranty, because you're not going to cover the phone anyway if something dies. So who cares if I replace the battery?
Well, not the battery, but I'm saying, like, okay, so now that they're doing this, I'm thinking, like you said, the parts have to be replaceable by a standard person with easy accessible tools. Mm-hmm. So it's not a heat gun. It's probably going to be just a tiny screwdriver.
It's a screwdriver and tweezers. Like that's exactly the definition of simple tools.
And so therefore, they're probably going to have to redesign some of these phones. So let's say someone buys a new phone and they crack the screen, and they want to replace it themselves. That should be easily accessible then via some screwdrivers.
This is only mandating the battery. Okay. The battery must be user serviceable. That is the doctrine that is in effect here. It's not saying all parts have to be user serviceable.
So then what if someone wants to, as Apple will do, like, our phones come in 4 colors, and then the big whole thing, remember, with the Nokia brick stuff, hey, here's all these cases. People come out with third-party cool back colors that you can turn on with these. Is it still then manufactured warranty that, this water then caused the battery to die, which then caused this fuse to do? But really, it was the seal on the back.
So I do want to talk about this. Aaron points out, Watch Louis Rossman, Apple blames everything on water damage. And they're one of the worst proponents of that claim, because they put water and moisture contact sensors everywhere. And they're visual indicators. If you ever took an iPhone in for repair, the first thing that the tech always did was take a little light and look down into your phone and go, see, the phone got wet. There's nothing we can do. That's not a be-all, end-all, because if you live in the South or a somewhat humid region, or you've ever left your phone in the bathroom while you took a shower for 15 minutes, guess what? There's moisture in the air. That moisture is enough to trip that sensor. That does not mean moisture caused a fault with your phone.
Nope.
Now, your consumer protection says it's up to the manufacturer. The onus is on the manufacturer to prove that damage caused the warranty claim to your phone.
Yeah.
What consumer is going to fight that, though? Warranty void if removed. Those stickers have no legal backing whatsoever. In fact, manufacturers are in violation of the Magnus Warranty Act if they put those stickers on the device and sell them in the United States. Does it stop anyone? No.
Yeah. I guess
it's the truck driving down the road with the dump truck with all the gravel that says driver not responsible for cracked windshields. Yes, you are. You didn't secure the load. You're just hoping that sign means I won't call.
Yeah,
that's what that means.
Yeah, I guess my whole thought is just I like that this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be additional headaches down the road caused by this that they'll be fought about.
Mm-hmm.
Either the Warranty Act that Apple now still doesn't honor warranties, or now claims this and all this parts. And we're going to get articles in 10 years about how even worse Apple is.
Yeah.
And so that's, I guess, kind of my thing. I really like it, but there's always that theoretical what if.
I love that every single comment in chat is literally what I just said. If you live in a human environment, sucks to be you. Sorry, Apple says this. They will just replace it with a sewer capacitor. Does anyone remember the warranty void if removed stickers?
Well, that's what I thought.
Did I nail all of them?
Like,
no, I thought all I read was Aaron's comment.
Oh, I was like, oh, he must be reading the comments. He's literally talking about it.
No, I want to pat myself on the back for preempting all that. Anyway, we did have a little bit of beer news to get to, and John, I don't know. This is going to be kind of a shot in the dark. Did you watch any of the Nintendo Direct stuff yesterday, today?
No, like I said, I'm not swamped, but I'm steadily busy.
Right. So there's a couple new games that were announced, and I think maybe we might like just pop up some screenshots after these next two stories and talk about them. Couple new Mario games. Well, one new Mario game and one remastered Mario game. Anyway, we do have some beer news to get to.
Yes. Hopefully your ad blocker works on this one. This is a weird site that I found, which
I got to it.
Yeah. Okay. So this story was reposted today by a different company, but it was ad blocked, and so I found it again. So it's a little old, but I still thought it was an interesting story that there is now an algorithm put out. What company did it? The creative agency GUT came up with this algorithm to figure out basically if all of the beer we've ever seen in historic, or not historic, but old-time classic art we would see, what beer are they actually drinking? And it turns out there's a good likelihood it's Stella Artois.
Yeah, actually.
And they go through these fine art pictures, and they give you a percentage of the person who painted this. Here's the likelihood that this beer is probably Stella. And they go through it because they go through kind of the history and how old Stella is, and the trademark logo and where they were brewed. And so they took the library of Stella of where they were sold, where they were brewed at the time, because it's actually a really, really old brew. It's one of the oldest.
Yeah.
I believe it technically started in like
1366.
Yeah. So through the 1700s and 1800s, there's been paintings of people with beer in them, and where that artist drew this picture and where Stella was sold, where that was probably the most sold beer at the time, they calculated the percentage that the beer the person is holding is probably Stella. That's actually kind of cool. They even have some Van Gogh is probably like, yeah, this is probably Stella that he saw someone.
John, I gotta bounce real quick. 1 second.
Yeah, not a problem. So it's actually a pretty interesting, fun little quick about beer and just the history of beer. And if you like old Renaissance style art. So actually it was Andy, our friend. Oh gosh, man. E-Technics. Yeah, Andy. All right, he's a big Stella fan, and I should send this over to him. There is going out of business in Homeland. Yes. So halfway through, how is everyone's beer going? Jeff is probably having to pee. I'm surprised I don't have to either. Hey, quick question. How's my audio? Everyone's been complaining about my audio for like the past 2 months. How's my audio? There we go. We do have one more beer. I don't know about the others. Good Stella. You know, I don't drink Stella that often. Actually, I haven't had a Stella in probably 10 years. So we got one other beer news, and it's as ridiculous as you might think because it's from Miller Lite. But because I don't have control over the queue, I can't tell you what it is. All right, audio's good. It's better. Great, good. John, you know what? I don't care. Turn up your volume.
Oh, oh, there we go. So, guys.
Default microphone. Well, yeah. Mic unplugged. All right, I'm back. All right, so what's going on in the world of chat? What are you guys drinking? Anyone start a second drink at all, or what's going on in your guys' world? Failed. Yes, I know. Cursed. Thanks, Skull. All right. Anyone got any? Fixed it. I did. Thank you. That's what I do for a living. Halfway through. Oh my gosh. Googly is halfway through the Fireball bottle. What size of bottle did you drink? Oh my gosh. It's so disgusting.
What did I miss?
Oh, nothing. Well, I mean, the article wasn't super long, but Googly has been drinking Fireball and he's already halfway through his bottle of Fireball. Honestly, I could only do like one shot of Fireball and that's it.
Yeah. Stop.
Yes.
My recommendation.
The sugar content will give you the worst hangover ever. All right. Second article. We'll get through this one really quick because it's so great and so innovative. But Miller Lite has debuted a way to keep your beer cold with ice without diluting it. And it's with frozen beer cubes that are shaped like tiny beer cans so that'll fit in your beer can.
Uh-huh.
Or bottle. So you can just freeze your beer.
Hot take.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll do an all-day IPA over ice.
Blasphemy, sir.
It's delicious.
Blasphemy. It's already light enough.
I am someone who cocktail, beverage, whatever. If I'm drinking juice, I love it as cold as humanly possible. Like don't get me wrong. Like I love my beers. I love my 60-degree stouts and whatever. There are some times when I just want an ice freaking cold beer.
Go. Well, one, go get a Coors Light because they'll tell you when it's as cold as the Rockies on the can. But don't you yourself at the craft computing store, go visit, by the way, sell whiskey cubes?
We do.
You could just dump those in there.
I could.
By the way, if you're looking for some personalized whiskey cubes by Craft Computing, whiskey store, craftcomputing.store.
Craftcomputing.store. Maybe soon to be, I don't know, some Hops and Brews merch on there too.
Yeah, maybe no. You never know. So, but yeah, for $7.99, you could buy Miller Lite ice beer can molds for your. So you open up a beer can, pour it in, which it only holds half a can of beer, by the way. So you actually have to drink the other half. But yeah, $7.99 for the beer cube tray. That is so innovating. Anyways, yeah.
Yes.
That's the beer news for today, people.
Yeah. I do have a couple of like little silicone tiki ice cube molds that'll do like the little half-inch cubes. And those are great, except they take forever to freeze, and then you only get 24 cubes or whatever is in it. Yeah. So you have like enough for like one drink. This is something I feel kind of similar to that, where, yeah, I get half a beer's worth of ice cubes to add to my full beer to make 1.5 beers cold enough to keep drinking. There's not going to be...
I mean, why don't they just give you a cup where you can like mold inside a beer can? You know, like what you push down the mold and you pull it out, and now it's internally hollow, and you can just pour your beer into that. I don't.
Yeah.
Again, it's beer news. I'm sitting there trying to find beer news, and it's like, okay, PETA's now calling Budweiser for their use against their Clydesdale. Like, okay, that's stupid. Not gonna do that one. Yeah.
Name an animal in advertising that is treated as well as the Budweiser Clydesdales.
Oh, I know. PETA's trying to get
for God's sakes
from the World Cup for their treatment of the Clydesdale, probably the most well-treated horses in the world. I mean, like, they have to their manes have to be beautiful, which is a dietary thing, also upon grooming thing, also upon rest. They also have to be ran, so they have plenty of exercise. They are, trust me, well taken care of.
Yes.
So I was just like looking like this is straight to the bottom. Oh.
Yeah.
Miller, come on, man.
Yeah.
So.
Oh. Lovely.
I'm gonna go grab my second beer.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, I'll wait for John to return then, because I think we're gonna jump into the next little bit of news, which John hasn't seen, so I kind of want to see his reaction to this in real time. Let's see. Who else is out there? Googly says, finally found a craft beer I like. Seems I like sours. I do like sours. They're not my favorite type of beer, but I do enjoy them.
I'm back.
Cool. So what's number 2, John?
It is the same brewery that makes all the famous pickle beers, but it is not a pickle beer. It is.
Have they unblocked you yet?
They have not. They have constantly blocked me from all the different social media sites.
So this is Martin House, right?
Yes, this is Martin House Brewing. But yet, everything I've said that's bad, I'm like, all I've ever said was, I personally do not like the flavor of this beer. I've never said their beer is bad. I just said I don't like the flavor of this beer X. But I've always said in each video, they are the best at making this flavor of beer. I just don't like this flavor.
Right.
And I usually have someone to contradict me, like, oh, I like this flavor.
Right. And that's how I review beers. Like, I rarely say this is a bad beer. I will say, I'm not particularly enjoying this one. I get what they're going with. I don't think it quite hit the mark, but, you know, it's the same thing with like used cars. There's an ass for every seat, and there's a reason that every single beer is made, unless it's just objectively a bad beer, which they are out there. But
yeah, they blocked me from Twitter. They blocked me from Instagram. I think the only reason they haven't blocked me from Facebook is I communicate them with my personal account instead of my my business account.
You're the patron saint of pickle beers, for God's sakes.
Really, if you Google pickle beer, I'm like 4 of the 10 searches on the first page of Google. So, but I will be having their sour beer. This is their raspberry moochie. So it is an 8% sour ale with raspberries, rice, and lactose. So, still a little bit funky.
Sour beer with rice and lactose, you said?
Yes. Raspberry, rice, and lactose. So, we will see how... 8% as well. So, actually bigger than the IPA had.
Yeah.
Smells great. Smells like just
well, we're both drinking 8% sours then. So what's funny is
that's good.
Normally, as sours warm up, they get worse. Like, you want to drink a sour cold.
Yes, you do.
I'm enjoying this one more as it's warming up.
Maybe that maltiness is helping the sour. I don't know.
It really is. It's rounding it out, I think, just enough.
There we go. Oh, I should give you that tiki zombie cocktail. You would hate that so much. You would hate. I mean, it was like drinking Four Loko.
Yeah.
It was so bad. But apparently, I didn't. That was the first time I saw it, and
for those who haven't seen that one, give some context to this conversation.
So my latest review, which new one should be coming out tomorrow, but last week's review of a beer was Lagunitas. It was a tiki cocktail infusion Imperial IPA. Now this was a 10% IPA. And I'm like, that sounds great. It's tiki Lagunitas who makes fantastic beer. I'm like, this is all great. But then there was a kicker. It was under $3 to buy this almost 20-ounce, 10% double IPA. That was kind of worrying.
Here's what I'll say. You're right to worry, but at the same time, I will counter with you've got Lagunitas Maximus, you've got Cryostash, there's a number of like those West Coast Northwest IPAs that are in like the upper 9s, low 10s, for under $3 for a 20-ounce. Like, they're out there and they're wonderful.
That's why I was like, okay, but I'm very optimistic because there, especially I was having, if you go and Google even Juice Force or Fruit Force from Voodoo Ranger, which someone already had today, you will see my face. But isn't
that fun?
It is actually really. Actually, I got to know the head guy who does all of their marketing for the Voodoo Ranger line.
Nice.
Surprised that he made a bunch of other people their sponsors, and he's still like, yeah, we're not gonna make you a sponsor. It's like, what? Anyways, so but those are all 9.5%. Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm enthused. I liked one, I didn't like the other. This is an experience. It truly is an experience. They call it hazy, and you can see through it. It's 10%, and then they call it tiki, but it has an allspice added to it. And so you have allspice added to a fruited Imperial malted backbone double IPA. That's what made me like, what? I got one can left. Because it was under $3, so I was like, I'll buy all 4.
Can I say dibs?
All right, that's yours.
I want to try it. I want to try it.
So, you have it on here. You're gonna hate it.
Yeah, but I've got stuff I can bookend it with. So it's
yeah. It'll be out. It's yours. So. All right, you said you got some video game news I haven't seen.
We do. So Nintendo announced a new game, a couple new Mario games. I think we'll start with this one because now I'm not going to play any audio because Nintendo
can't do that.
And in fact, we're going to go with a fairly small screen on here. In fact, I might try to shrink it even a little bit more. There we go. That's good. Okay. Let's try this.
Okay.
So, John, you grew up in the 8 and 16-bit era, much like I did. Oh, yeah. Did you ever play Super Mario RPG?
Yes. Super Nintendo.
Yes.
Very fun. Yes, it was. Actually, I really enjoyed the RPG because I was still really into Final Fantasy, so I was like, oh,
Yeah, it was
really
a
cool.
Nintendo JRPG inspired Mario game, and it was actually very solid. Like it really held up, and in fact holds up today. Well, Nintendo must have thought the same thing because they're bringing it back.
Like a remastered or like Paper Mario?
Completely remade from the ground up.
Ooh.
So, here's the trailer. Obviously no sound. But, yeah, they've basically recreated the game from scratch.
So is it just a remastered RPG?
It's partially a remaster, more of like a reimagination is what I would call it.
Oh,
from
cool.
From what I've seen. It's a similar gameplay style where it's an isometric, semi-live, semi-turn-based style gameplay. And I don't know if it's going to follow the exact same story and the exact same everything. From what it sounds like, it might. But there's obviously some new mechanics. There was a percentage bar down in the left corner, which is kind of reminiscent of like a Final Fantasy VII style, like boost gauge or, you know, something like that. But
this looks fun.
Super Mario RPG.
Honestly, so that actually, if they stay true to one aspect, to where I get to control every character and their turns. I hated the way Final Fantasy went away from that and just said you control your character, and then the computer controls the rest of them.
It's the worst. That's not a JRPG. That's not the formula.
Exactly. Yeah, and so if they stick with that, that looks like a super fun game.
Yeah. No, I'm very much looking forward to this. Like I loved Super Mario RPG. I've only played it once or twice. Like it's not a top 20 RPG for me, but it's on the radar.
No. Yeah, as far as RPGs, I remember playing it, like, I really enjoyed it. I think I only went through it one time.
Yeah.
Honestly. And then I played parts of it, like, oh, I'll play this for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It's fine. Especially when I've like rebuilt a pie or something like that. Not that I have that wrong. I don't.
Well, if you have that cartridge, then yeah. I mean, you're legally entitled to that ROM. So.
Well, I did have that cartridge. Maybe. I
can neither confirm nor deny whether I had that cartridge and how I played that game. Memory's a funny thing.
Yeah, they're all fuzzy and foggy, so whatever. But yeah, but I do remember it being very fun. I remember enjoying it. And then I do know that a lot of other people have as well, because it's always on like a lot of like a top 10 list of RPG games or Mario games of like, this is one of the most memorable, this is one of the most fun, good story, good time. And so this would be about the time that I was playing Final Fantasy, which would be 6 or 3 Super Nintendo, and me enjoying. I was like, I'm really into this, and that was a really in-depth, complicated game for my age. And this Mario, it's like, this is really fun too. Yeah, I really enjoy it because it's just like everything else.
No, I remember playing Final Fantasy 2 and 3 both when they came out in the US, and yeah, that was probably above my pay grade, as they would say. Yeah, when they came out.
I wasn't understanding the story, but I was like, I'm just playing.
I think I got most of the story, but some of the mechanics might have been lost on me because they're way more in depth than that age of brain in my head could comprehend in some cases. But Mario RPG was a little bit of a slimmed down version of Final Fantasy that, you know, I don't think it was as good as Final Fantasy 2 or 3. But at the same token, I think it's definitely worth a playthrough. And if they're going to completely remaster it from top to bottom, I'm here for it. And I'll definitely...
Well, yeah, and I think, like I said, there's always been a lure. Right now, if you look up enough articles, you'll find Mario RPG mentioned a number of times in top categories of certain things. And so my only hope would be, like, maybe they make a different, like, tier system of this is the easy mode, regular mode, expert mode.
Yeah.
So that way the people that are older that remember Mario RPG that were young or want that challenging aspect, maybe there is something that they can use other than just making the bosses, your attack isn't as harmful, so you have to strategize more. Maybe that would be kind of actually fun if they could build games around that certain quests are easy, or when you open up a map, the map is, you actually get more of the map, or there's more of these areas.
Do you want to know what my biggest fear is for this game?
Okay.
They're going to want $60 for it.
Oh, they're totally going to want $60 for it because they remastered everything. No, it's going to be $70.
I don't care that they remastered everything, though. Because
$69.99.
Because 99% of games that were developed in 1993, 94, 95, 96. So we're talking about, that late generation of SNES, 16-bit era coming to an end. 99% of those games have 20% the complexity of modern day games.
Okay,
I'm excluding the 1%ers. I'm excluding the Final Fantasy VI. I'm excluding Diablo. I'm excluding, games of that. Of that ilk.
I agree, but at the same time, if they did theoretically create a whole new engine around this, which then
that means that 0 of the writing, 0 of the mechanics, 0 of the balance, none of the mechanics and gameplay went through any kind of testing. And so I made this argument for Link's Awakening, for the remaster for the Switch, and I've played it, and I'm not happy with it. It's a beautiful game. I
almost bought it. Yeah.
I don't disagree that it's a beautiful game and it's definitely worth a playthrough, and that the remaster, it's pretty solid. I liked it.
But it's $50.
But it's $50, and I'm sorry, but it's a Game Boy game that was released in 1992, and I don't care how good the graphics are. Half of the work that goes into the development of a game didn't happen with this game, so you really can't argue that.
Well, what they're probably going off of now is the people that did play it back then
are going to pay you $50 to play it now.
Because we have the money to pay for it. And then the new people that are like, it's a brand new Zelda game. I will pay this because I've never played the original one.
Right. My problem is when you look at other games at those price points, if I'm gonna say, you know what, I have $60 to spend on a game, do I buy Final Fantasy 16 or do I buy Super Mario Brothers RPG from 1993?
Yeah.
What game had more development time? What game?
Sure, but then I would just for that one, I would go back to the old mechanics because I like the old mechanics better.
You get my point, though.
I got your point.
My problem with remasters is they're a cheap way to pump out good content, and I don't think the cheap way. I'm not discrediting that it's probably worth a playthrough. I'm discrediting that Super Mario RPG, if it launches for $59.99, man, they're taking you. They're taking you for a ride.
Yeah, true. I agree. But at the same time, too, how many games do you see that are brand new that they're like, oh, here, as a company, this is going to be $39.99, $30. There are no AAA developed by Nintendo themselves because they're going to want to squeeze as much money out as possible.
I really wish that AAA studios would actually start paring down a little bit.
Actually, my thought is the only reason they could even charge as much is not even because it's a AAA game or AAA studio. It is just the IP of Mario. That is it.
Right, but realistically speaking, let's take this in like realistic development time terms. You've got a game like Breath of the Wild, or even more, Tears of the Kingdom. You've got Tears of the Kingdom, $70 game. You're gonna charge me $60 for Link's Awakening?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Yeah. That's bogus.
I wish that AAA developers, that development studios in between AAA games or whatever else, would use the IP and produce $20 titles.
That would, yeah.
Experiment with basic mechanics. Make it a simpler game. Don't.
They did that actually. Do you remember the Wii? And they came out with Link's crossbow.
Yeah.
And that was a $20 item.
Yeah. And it came with the controller.
It came with the controller, dude. It was $19.99, and it came, and it was a mechanics for Twilight Princess, if I believe it, because they worked on the mechanics for Twilight Princess, and so that's actually not a bad idea. You start developing these small, almost mini, and in all honesty, like, so every night, my son is now, because him and I are playing. It's the only reason why it's taking me forever to get through Tears of the Kingdom, because he has to play it with me. So it's like, oh, I get about 2 hours a week.
Welcome to my world.
So
2 hours a week uninhibited.
Yes, that's exactly what. And then as I'm doing, oh my gosh, I built up my inventory. I'm like, all right, and I'm going to bed tomorrow or whatever. And then he plays it. Oh, all of my arrows are gone. All of my bombs are gone.
Oh no!
All of my everything's gone. Like, I gotta take another 30 minutes to build that back up. And he's
30 minutes. Have you played Tears of the Kingdom? Holy crap! Like it takes me hours to build up enough bombs to get up the balls to go fight a Lionel. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah. So
I see a Lionel across the plains from me, and I'm calculating the number of hours of prep that I've done. And am I willing to lose seven diamonds and 9 bombs and 4 weapons and
right? I know.
And 125 zonite from producing, the little bomb flower clusters.
I still don't even know what Poes do. What do those things do?
The Poes are you collect the Poes. There are, if you go back to the main lookout, right outside Hyrule Castle, Hyrule Field. Right next to Purah. Or not Purah, but the couple assistants. There's a Poe statue right there. You can trade in your Poe and buy mythical items. And also, you can use the Poe to find other Poe statues to buy other mythical items. And so there are basically, the statues are the gatekeepers to Purgatory. And you collect the Poes and you help the spirits return home, and they reward you with stuff. They're rupees.
Okay, they're just rupees.
Right.
Like, I have a couple hundred of these things. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm calling.
Oh yeah, no, I've spent like 1,000 of them because it's the only way that you can acquire the Dark Link getup. Is by spending Poes, and you have to find the 3 statues that have all 3 of the parts. And so it's also any mythical items that you find. So if you find like Bigoron's sword or trousers of the Hero of Time or something like that.
Yeah.
You can buy those items again from the Poe statues.
Oh, okay.
So once you burn through your Big Goron sword, you can go buy another one for 150 Poe.
Well, we have all the amiibos from Tears of the Kingdom, or Breath of the Wild, sorry. But they work, and a lot of that stuff is theirs. But
yeah,
it's like constant. I have so much meat.
Meat or fish.
Meat and fish. And then so we went to Goron City, and so he spent, I swear, a good hour just on that. There's like a giant cook plate.
Yep.
Where it's not a cooking pot, it's just hot. And if you throw something on it, it'll catch on fire, but cook it slowly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't overburn. He went and cooked all of the inventory we had, every piece of meat, but individually, because he wanted to see it. I had around 200 pieces of steak, and he cooked all of it.
Wow. But didn't actually make them into a meal, so all you got was like a heart and a half.
Yeah, so it was like...
At least throw some honey on there, damn it.
But yeah, so I come back the next day, and I'm like, okay, I guess this is how I have to heal myself. fighting a Lino or a Cyclops or whatever. Yeah, or Talus or Stone Talus or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like, oh man. So
yes,
yeah, and then every day I come back and I resume. I'm like, I'm in a completely different area and I don't know what I was doing, and I don't know who I was talking to because whatever. I saved it at the spot of like, okay, if I just talk to these people around me, I'll remember where I'm at, so it's good.
Yeah.
Save, go to bed, wake up, come back after work the next day at night after the kids tucked in. Wait, where am I? Wait, where's my inventory? Wait, where's that sword and shield? Oh, he loves like sticks. And so he'll
just toss
he'll toss a sword, like a perfectly good sword, and he'll just be like, I like this branch. By the way, don't break the branch. I merged it with a fire jelly.
Yeah,
it's great. It's like, I'm like, great. I love that you fused it together. Like, yeah, didn't I create something cool? Like, sure, but
where's my soldier's claymore?
Yeah, right. I killed a Lino, so I fused it with a horn. Oh, that's the other thing. They'll be like, yeah, that's cool. Well, let's unfuse it. Well, I lost that thing.
Yeah.
Wow. And he's like, well, I didn't know. And it was like a Lino, a Lino horn.
Yeah. I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom for almost 2 weeks now, and it's entirely my fault. But it's for a really good reason. So I love like premium feeling handhelds. Like I've got my Ambernick 350M. Oh, yeah. It's an all metal handheld. I freaking love this thing. Anyone who's ever held a Switch has picked it up and has like 20 years of memories of like Nintendo handhelds, and they pick up the Switch and they go, because it's not great. It's fairly inexpensive plastics for Nintendo. The Joy-Cons wobble on the edge of it. I didn't want that. I wanted a premium Switch. And so I bought a CNC aluminum shell for my Switch. This is a billet aluminum case, okay?
How heavy is that thing?
Yes. It's like twice as heavy as a regular Switch. It feels amazing. Like, I love this. But I broke a couple things. Yeah, I've never done this before. Like, I've never had a problem disassembling things. I was always the guy that, like, hey, I broke my phone screen. Yeah, no worries, drop it off. I'll have you a new one by the morning. Replacing or pulling the screen out of the old Switch shell, I tore the digitizer cable clean off the display. And so the touchscreen doesn't work. And I'm like, you know what? I can work with that. No big deal.
Fine.
Whatever.
That's not horrible.
Right. So I went to put the LCD back and connect it to the motherboard, and as soon as I touched, like I did, and I'm no stranger to ribbon cables. I've been dealing with ribbon cables since like 1996, maybe. I think the first laptop that I tore apart that I had to pull a ribbon cable off a keyboard for. So a while. As soon as I touched the LCD connector, the retention clip went boom.
How thin was that retention clip?
Oh God,
that was probably paper thin.
So I'm pretty good at soldering, but I'm calling in a favor, and I'm mailing this logic board to Canada for someone way more qualified than me to resolder that connection. And this is a Gen 1 Switch. This is my audible Switch, and I like that ability. I like being able to have like RetroArch on here and things like that. But I wanted it in a metal shell. And it's wonderful, but this Switch doesn't work right now. And all my save games are on here. And since it's moddable, I do have a program where I can back up my save games and then copy into my computer and make sure I have backups. And I do that regularly. But I hadn't done that in like a week and a half. And I'm not going to start my Tears of the Kingdom run over. And my Tears of the Kingdom save is on the eMMC on this Switch.
Oh, man. Honestly, I probably should go buy another one because I do have a first edition. I should probably make it, whatever.
Well,
yeah, you'll help me find a second Switch.
Yes.
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 Yeah. Anyway, I have since bought a second certified Japanese secondhand shipped from Japan moddable first edition Switch.
Oh.
Spent way too much money on it because my wife and I also play Mario Kart like no one's business. Like we will take on all comers.
Did you get the expansion packs that just came out, or there was a new one that just came out?
Yes, just came out. Yes, we do have that.
We got that too.
Anyway, I wasn't going to like, man, if this repair fails, I'm not gonna like just like give up my modded Switch. So I went ahead and bought a second one. That one, if this one ends up getting fixed, is going to be like the permanent like TV Switch.
Docked, yeah.
Yeah, it's just gonna sit in the dock and it's gonna live its life nice and carefree. But yeah, I want this Switch fixed because
I want that feel. I want that grip, the weight.
It feels so good, and I haven't been able to play it yet. Oh, also, I swapped out the Joy-Cons with the Hall Effect joysticks while I was at it.
Oh yeah.
So this has the Hall Effect. Like this is the ultimate Switch. It's moddable. It's aluminum. And it has
your
Hall
OLED
Effect.
switches.
Yeah, screw your OLED. This is where it's at. Yep.
This is what real Switch users wanted.
That's right.
We wanted titanium. We wanted better control knobs. We wanted all of it. We didn't want a better screen. We just wanted, well, graphics, yes, that would have been great.
Yeah.
But everything else, we just wanted weight,
right.
baby.
Yeah. And so finally I can pick up this, and I went, nice. Like it feels solid. And like if you've ever picked up any other Nintendo handheld, like I have like every other Nintendo handheld. I don't have my original Game Boy anymore, but I still have my Game Boy Color. I have my Advance. I have my Advance SP. I have my DS. My DSi. I have a 3DS, 3DS XL, new 3DS XL. Like I've gone through the gamut. I've got them all. I even own a Game Boy Micro.
Oh, wow. That's tiny.
Right. And I love them all, and they all feel amazing, and they still hold up like 20 years later. And then you grab the Switch, and you just go, ugh. It's just not the same. It's not the same quality. It's not what I expected. The Switch Lite feels really good. I will say that. My wife has a Switch Lite, and she loves that thing. And I've picked it up a couple times and went, this is pretty good. But the original Switch is just like, it's a tier down.
Yeah, no, it's very light. Every time I pick mine out of the dock, I'm like, wow, this is just light.
Yep. But yeah, no, my Amberneck 350M. I love this console. It feels so good. All right. Yeah, people saying Tears of the Kingdom runs just fine on my Steam Deck. It runs fine on my PC too, but my save game is on my Switch because that's where I was playing it. So, because...
Well, here's the
I might be a filthy modder, but I'm not a filthy pirate, okay?
There's even difference. That too, but at the same time, I mean, those are the versions too that you're able to crack and hack and do all the weird fun things, and you're not actually getting the full experience of the game itself. After you beat it, go have fun with it. That's fine. And I got no problem with that.
And that's totally what I do.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I do too. It's just taking me a really long time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I will say I did beat all 4 dungeons on my Switch. I'm
on the 4th right now.
Yeah, I will say, holy crap. When you start out and you see the 2 rows of hearts and you go, that looks slightly larger than normal. I wonder why that is. And you find out it's 40 hearts, not 20 hearts, because it's double wide. And then you're like, wow, they really upped this. And then you start playing Tears of the Kingdom, and you face your first monster, and he whoops your ass, and you go, oh, that's why they gave you twice as many hearts, is these guys hit 4 times as hard.
No, it's different. My son is not very happy because, we maxed everything out in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Oh, I beat a Lionel in 2 hits." Well, yeah, you have maxed out hearts, and you just use Rivali or not Rivali's Gale, Mifa's Revenge, or
Mifa's
the lightning
Grace.
one.
Yeah.
Mifa's Grace for the hearts, and then the lightning. I was like, yeah, you do 2 of those with a maxed out other Lionel sword that you have.
Right.
Yeah, 2 hits of the Lionel, he's dead. So
Right.
you're like, yeah, no problem. How long did it take us to get there? It took us like 2 years to get here.
Right.
We maxed out all of our armor, we maxed all of our stamina, everything out.
All of a sudden,
fresh,
so I will say the first Lionel that I faced in Tears of the Kingdom was an armored gloomed Lionel.
Oh, the first we faced a white Lionel.
Okay.
Maxed out.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Yeah, no,
I didn't do an armored one yet.
So I have a screenshot of it because it's like something bad's about to happen. I don't know what, like I learned to fear the Lionels, but also like respect Lionels from a distance and whatnot. I also know the trick: if you don't have a weapon out, they won't attack you. Did you know that?
I did not.
If you don't draw your weapon, they will not attack you. Oh. It's only when you start to be perceived as a threat. So when you draw your sword, they'll go, "Oh, he's into battle. Okay, let's go." If you don't draw your sword, they'll leave you alone. They'll yell at you, but they won't attack you. And so I had a healthy respect of Lionels, and only like late game Breath of the Wild would be like, all right, bring it on. And so I used that a couple of times in Tears of the Kingdom, and then finally it's like, yeah, I got like 12 hearts. I think I'm someone. All right. Literally one hit me.
Oh, I know. It's one hit, and I'm like, all right, I'm a half a heart away from death. Eat my steaks that my son cooked, and I'm going through 40 of them. Yeah, I'm going through like 40 of them. And it's like, okay, and then there went a sword. There went my sword. There went my shield. My bow's about to break. Okay. Yep. There is a trick, though. Did you know if you're riding if you mount a Lionel, you don't lose any of your stamina on the item. So
yeah, any of your item durability, correct.
Yeah, your durability, yes. So learned that, and I was like, okay, I just got to get a high-end one. But then I have to hit him in the head.
Yeah, you got to stun him so you can get on him.
Yeah, I was like, oh, get back here. Yeah. I know, that's annoying. And each one's different, too, especially if you get one with a sword or a spear. They attack differently.
What's really funny is I feel like I was one of the only people to, when you saw the 3-headed dragon, recognize it for the first boss in Zelda 1.
Oh, really?
So I was
saw a trailer about that.
Yeah, so I was you get off the big island in the sky and you're falling down. And I remember I went towards Hyrule Town, and I got the paraglider, and then I shot up in the air on the tower. And I remember looking over towards Lake Hylia, and there's that 3-headed dragon on the bridge.
Yep.
By the way, these aren't spoilers. These are all things that you can see from the main
trailer.
Island.
Yeah.
And they're all in the trailer. And I remember like shooting up there and then looking over at Lake Hylia, and I went, holy crap, it's the very first boss ever in Zelda. Like, that was my first reaction. It's like, I didn't even question what it was. I just went, oh, there's the 3-headed dragon. And people have been going, what is this new creature? No, it's the first creature that you face in Zelda. It's the first boss ever of all time. And you meet different ones throughout your playthrough. There's the fire one by Lake Hylia, there's an ice one, there's a lightning one, and then there's one with all 3 heads.
Yeah. That one I haven't seen. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
I've seen each individual, the lightning, the ice, and the fire, but I haven't seen all.
Yeah. There's one with each head.
Okay. No, I haven't fought any of them either, so I was like, I treat them like Lionels. Just going away.
Yeah, no, they're the new Lionels, and Lionels are still the old Lionels.
Yeah, I'm just like, not gonna go after them. It's fine.
Yep.
I'll wait till I'm fully maxed out in like a year or whatever.
Yeah,
Then I'll just have my way with everyone.
Yep. So, there was a second Mario game announced, and this one is a brand new game.
Okay.
This is a new 2D side-scrolling platformer. And what Nintendo's been doing for basically the last 15 years is new Super Mario Brothers. They have done a 3D rendered 2D platformer that has gone through like 3 or 4 different iterations between the Wii, the 3DS, and the Wii U. And I will say has kind of... I don't want to say it's the same game, but it's been mostly the same mechanics. It's been a lot of the same level design, very reminiscent of Super Mario Bros. 3. That was kind of when Nintendo like finally cemented in, this is what a 2D Mario platformer should be. It was, you've got the power-ups, you've got the Tanuki, you've got the leaf, you've got the fire flower, you've got a couple of other odd things, you've got the frog suit. And then New Super Mario Brothers was kind of a return to that formula. We're going to do 2D platformer levels. We're going to have a couple of new mechanics. And it's just going to be, an easy to learn, difficult to master style game. And I loved New Super Mario Brothers. It's probably my favorite in the entire franchise. But 15 years on, if you consider it came out in 2008, it's getting a little long in the tooth, even though it's gone through 2 or 3 revisions since then. There's a new 2D platformer called Super Mario Wonders. Or Super Mario Brothers Wonder. So here's the first screenshot of it, John.
Okay. Is that the new Giant Mario?
No, it's just Mario as an elephant. Okay, let's go ahead and hit play, and we'll watch this for a couple of seconds until I'm DMCA'd. So instead of 3D rendering, it's kind of like a cross between like Paper Mario and like a retro-styled animated Mario. And I kind of like it.
It's okay.
It's got this like almost stop motion like appeal to it. And if you go back and you watch this full screen, how it should be viewed, you'll see a little bit more about what I mean. But it's almost got like a 10 FPS animation mixed with 60 FPS motion type feel. When I say like a stop motion type feel. Because it feels like it's being hand-drawn, but in a fantastical, realistic way. But yeah, Super Long Mario. Did you see that one?
Yeah. That looks cool. I like that.
That's cool. This is also a Mario hat. I'm assuming that you can get. You're like a wrecking ball. I think they call that the Miley. You found a Wonder Seed, and so there's like this back and forth light world, dark world transition within levels and whatnot. It seems like there's a shadow world coupled with a light world, and you can transition between the two inside of the same level. So it's an evolution of that Super Mario Brothers 3, New Super Mario Brothers type feel. And right there, that was another big,
I saw that.
big thing. Luigi turned out the lights, and all of a sudden you're in something a little different. The mechanics change. There was Mario and Peach hovering from their hats, using those as like hang gliders. But kind of a fantastical reimagining of Mario. And I really like what I see here.
I mean, I'll probably still get it because my son's a Mario craze right now. I don't know. Yeah, I like that they're coming up with innovations, but of the art. The art looked really cool. I'll probably have to go take a high def view of the.
Definitely go watch the trailer. Get a better view than you just got over a Zoom call in a condensed window.
Yeah. And then me blowing that up to full screen, like, oh, that's even worse.
Right.
And then but I guess because I have the Mario 3D World, or not the 3D World, Mario Super Deluxe, I think it's called now, for the Switch, which is the
reimagining of the new Super Mario Brothers Wii U.
Wii U.
Yes.
And then we also have Mario Builder 2, where you can build upon the same mechanics.
Yes.
Of that.
Yeah.
My son really likes that one. Actually, the one I really liked, I don't know if you played it, it was the re-release of Mario 3D World, but with the Bowser Fury edition.
And I had a really hard time with that one.
You did?
I did.
I liked the open world concept of the 3D world.
I didn't hate it. I didn't necessarily jive with it as a platform gamer. I really like the 2D flat platform style.
But that's so very basic to me. It's like, all I know is run and jump, run and jump, run and jump.
It is.
It's just another run and jump. And then I just have different powers to solve this quick run and jump problem.
Right.
I liked the open world because I had to travel there and I didn't have to load the game. I didn't have to go on a map and then hop onto this world. Yeah. And then it loads me. And then here's 3 minutes to beat this one level.
Right.
It was, I have this constant open world, and then every now and there's a timed villain of Bowser coming to get me while I'm in the middle of a mission.
Right.
I kind of like that.
I will say it felt like a half-assed Odyssey.
I personally took it as similar to what we were talking about earlier with like the mechanics of, this is the trial run for like the new Mario Odyssey.
Right. And
this is how the new Odyssey is going to be, is a complete open galaxy, or to where we're not going to load. It's just you're in the whole entire world.
Right. I loved Odyssey. I loved Odyssey. And Odyssey, you could take it as an extension of Galaxy going back towards Super Mario 64. Like, that's when they figured out that formula, and it's amazing they got it on the first shot. Like, holy crap, how often does a major company do that? Because it just doesn't happen. But that formula worked, and you know, love or hate Sunshine, it was still a great 3D platformer. I feel 3D World, and this is strictly speaking from a gameplay and mechanics standpoint, it's a great looking game. My problem is it feels like a transitional game between 2D and 3D platformers. Mm-hmm. And Nintendo never had that state. They went from Mario 3 to Super Mario Brothers World to Yoshi's Island to Super Mario 64. They didn't have a transitional game where they had to experiment with 3D and try to make those 2D aspects work in a 3D environment. They just nailed it. And so 3D World felt like a step backwards to me. Where yes, it was open world. Yes, it was a 3D environment. Yes, you could explore in whatever dimension you wanted. But it was still based on a grid system. And that felt like a step back for me as far as gameplay and mechanics and actual, like, running through the levels.
I agree with 3D World. Well, the little part of the Bowser Fury minigame.
I like the Bowser Fury minigame. Like, I did like that aspect. I'm thinking more of Super Mario Brothers 3D World. That game felt like a step backwards as far as the progression of Mario.
I agree with that. I like the Fury part of, as that being a little expansion pack of it. That's what 3D World needed of, instead of going into these individual lands, it's one big area and you can visit anywhere you want. Mm-hmm. Almost like, say, Tears of the Kingdom. It would be great to have Mario, but then you're not Mario. It's just a different game, right?
Right.
I agree that classic Mario is the 2D, I'm just going from one end to the other, the platform style levels. Mm-hmm. That is classic Mario. You make that, if you can make that as best you can, that's what this looks like, with cooler, different graphics, mm-hmm. and as best as you can, because they are just squeezing as much IP out of that as you can.
Oh, right.
But again, here's the thing, though. Would you pay $70 for that?
And there's the rub, isn't it?
And you stated that it's the exact same game, but just different.
Yeah.
It's just better graphics. And they're still going to charge you $69.99 for that game.
Yeah. Here's where I'll counter that. Is even though Link's Awakening was a reimagined game from 1992, even though Mario RPG is a reimagined game from 1994, there are mechanics and gameplay and story and environments that have never even been conceived of before within Mario Wonder. And that's where I give it the nod as a $70 game over a $50 or a $40 or even a $30 game. I felt Link's Awakening could have done very well at $29.99. I kind of felt ripped off at $50. I feel that Mario RPG, unless it is a complete reimagining and there's 3 times the story and broadened mechanics, and I'm gonna feel ripped off for $50 or $60 or $70 because it's still the same game from 1994. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to do that work, and so why am I being charged for that? Versus Mario Brothers Wonder, sure, it builds on the Super Mario Brothers 3, New Super Mario Brothers Wii, etc. formula, but there's new
mechanics, and there's new looks.
The mechanics and the puzzles are vastly different, even if they're iterative of. And because it's a new experience, I'm more willing to pay. And that's just me as a consumer looking as someone who understands the ebb and flow of gameplay and mechanics and things like that. Like I recognize the dragon in Tears of the Kingdom for what it was, literally from the trailer and from my first viewing of it on the bridge of Lake Hylia, going, "Oh, they brought back the dragon. That's cool." Tears of the Kingdom is not the same game as The Legend of Zelda, as The Adventure of Link, as Link to the Past, as Ocarina of Time, as Link's Awakening, as you go on down the list. It's a new game entirely.
Someone's complaining that we're drunk and this isn't good enough rambling. I said, "Oh, we're not drunk enough." You can tell we're not drunk because Jeff's not having the hiccups.
Right. I'm as lucid as I've ever been.
Yeah. No, I have no problem. I like this discourse.
And that's my problem. Is a lot of game development is going into what are the mechanics of this game. What is the ebb and flow of, if you're talking about a Zelda game, what is the ebb and flow of item use and puzzle solving and things like that, versus what have we already figured out is a known working mechanic and we're just going to redo it but with 3D graphics, because you can throw 3D graphics at anything and call it a remaster and people will buy it up, but does that make it a AAA $70 game in today's market? I don't think it does. And as good as Link's Awakening is on the Switch, and I think it's a good game because it was a good game in 1992, I don't think it's worth a AAA price tag because half the work was already done. And that's my point.
I can understand that point. So basically, if they made Super Mario, whatever it's called now, and they just added levels to it but left the same mechanics, so it's just expansion. So essentially, it would just be an expansion pack of new levels, but left the same power up. You would be upset that it was being charged with $60.
Absolutely,
because they did absolutely nothing. They built it in Mario Builder.
Right. Let's put it this way. If this were 2009, okay, we played Ocarina of Time, Zelda, one of the greatest, action RPGs, action slasher games of all time. We played that in 1996 when it came out. We then got the sequel, Majora's Mask, and it was great. And then in 2003, we got Wind Waker. And then in 2007, we got Twilight Princess. What if in 2009, they said, we are remastering Ocarina of Time for the Wii?
Yeah.
Is that a $60 game?
Well, for the Wii, it's a gameplay. I mean, it depends if they change the mechanics slightly, but yeah, the game, no.
If they put HD graphics on Ocarina of Time, which they did for the 3DS, remember?
Yeah.
If they said a Wii U launch title is going to be Ocarina of Time, is that a $60 game? I don't care if they build it from the ground up, different engine. It's not just a rework. It's a remaster. It's all the texture. But it's the same puzzles. It's the same story. It's the same mechanics. It's the same items. They know everything already works. They didn't do the game development work outside of making their theories and their mechanics work.
If it was the same story, I would be fine as long as the mechanics were completely different.
But see...
If the mechanics were completely different...
But if it's the same dungeon, and it's the same puzzles, and it's the same bosses, and it's the same fights, is it a new game?
I mean, I'd be fine with it being the same boss, but you have to beat them a different way because the mechanics would make
But then the mechanics are different, and then I'm totally cool.
The puzzles, sure. The puzzles also can't be this item's in this dungeon, so I've already remembered the mapping of it, so I don't need to go get the mapper. If they threw that 33% into changing that part of it,
right?
I would then say yeah. But if it was just a straight, hey, we remastered it, but the motion control's not there, it's literally the exact same controls. Yeah, no, it's a $29.90 game.
I'd say even a $20 game.
Yeah,
because so much of the game development and the process and the expense happens in making sure the gameplay is going to be good. If you already know the gameplay is going to be good, and you just have to get there with the engine, that feels like a half-assing to me. And it's not worth my money. It's not new to you, but to others it is. But see, that's the problem, is... Boy, this is topical. I knew the Titanic sank.
But I saw the movie.
Yeah. Right, and I already knew about it and things like that.
Well, okay, hey, hang on. I'll switch it really quick. I knew Rogue One. I knew the ending was going to be
right. But if you're able to tell, but see, knowing the ending is not knowing the entire story, and taking me on a new journey it's
worth your money.
Is probably the majority of the work into developing that movie. You have to tell the story. If the story's already written, half your work is already done. And so where is the justification for charging the same amount as a brand new IP?
If they remade New Hope, and I'm just trying to get off topic here.
Right, exactly. No, if tomorrow Paramount said, we're going to reshoot shot for shot the original series, would you subscribe to Paramount Plus?
Yeah. Or Disney Plus, whatever.
Because they've already brought back both James and Sam Kirk.
Oh, yeah. It's like, no, not really.
And Spock and Uhura. Scotty's been on voice. I don't know if you knew that. We've heard Scotty's voice in Strange New Worlds.
Oh, yes. That's all right. Yes.
Yeah, because we went to the future 7 years, remember? But, so yeah, like, we already know the characters are there. What if they just said, yeah, we're going to do a shot-for-shot remake of the original series? Is that worth your money? Is it, like, I'm not saying is it worth your time as a Star Trek fan if you want to re-experience it, maybe do some better storytelling, way better graphics, like, because the original series was campy AF.
Yeah.
And... I mean, and I wouldn't mind a retelling of some of those stories, but if those stories have already been written...
I mean, or to be like, oh, we're redoing any series, but we're animating it now, but we're starting from season 1 again. I was irritated enough that Into Darkness just went straight back to Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. And sure, it was mostly a new story, but it was also mostly the same. It's just...
Well, hey, technically, sorry, we're going to get off topic here, but I'm going to go off a binge. Did you notice the parallels between season 3 of Picard and Wrath of Khan? Yeah, it was Wrath of Borg, basically.
It's there. It's there.
The first like 4 or 5 episodes are just Wrath of Khan, but TNG characters.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But that's what made it actually kind of good.
Is that not one of the greatest Star Trek villains of all time, though?
And yeah, it's great. It's what one could almost argue.
I'm not talking about Khan.
Star Trek movies ever.
I wasn't speaking
Possibly.
to Khan there. I was saying, isn't Vadic one of the greatest Star Trek villains of all time now?
Well, Benedict Cumberbatch kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything comes back to Star Trek.
Yes. If you didn't already know. Anyway.
Yes, if you did.
It is 6 minutes past the hour. It's probably about time to call this before John and I crack another beer and talk about Star Trek for the next 2 hours. But if that sounds enjoyable to you, make sure to join the Patreon, get on the Discord, get yourself on the after party, because that's where this conversation is heading.
Wrath of Khan's bathroom.
Minimum of $1 a month. You can hear me tell John to F off, and that Wrath of Khan was one of the worst Star Trek movies that's ever been made.
Only one.
I'm going to mute you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
The chat can still hear me. That's the thing.
That's true. That's true. Anyway, if you like this one, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't already. Subscribe to Hops and Brews if you like our beer reviews and want to see more of that content. In fact, John and I probably need to get with each other and make a couple more beer reviews here very soon. I still have that Fort George in my fridge.
Oh, we gotta do something with that. I got this Kraken rum spice rum. I thought you'd really like it too.
I have Kraken.
I got no. It's this dark. Let me hang on.
He's gonna grab his. I'm gonna grab mine. It's gonna get awkward.
Well, no, it's the gold spiced rum. Do you have this one yet?
I do not have the gold spiced rum. I have the Kraken coffee rum. Have you had that?
I have not had that.
The coffee rum's amazing.
Oh, this is great. I could just drink all of this. This is straight. This was straight.
Yep. So yeah, the regular Kraken is a blackstrap rum. So that looks like a spiced. The coffee rum is dangerous.
Yeah. To
say the least. Because it tastes like really good semi-sweet coffee.
Oh.
Over ice. I've had a couple of long nights with that. But yeah, no, I have not even seen the gold label Kraken.
Yeah, this is like malty caramel, banana esters, very Jamaican style rum, and I can just like this was Father's Day, and I drank that much on Father's Day.
Nice.
And then I took a nap on the couch.
Yes.
I was like, all right, I'm fine.
Which is how all Father's Days should end, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what I did when I got home. Is I sat on the couch and I took a nap. So It was nice. Anyway, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Craft Computing, subscribe to Hops and Brews, follow us on the social medias. All the links are down in the video description. Get on over to craftcomputing.store, grab yourself one of our new laser-etched pint glasses, including nucleated bottoms, and start drinking like a pro. Unless it's an overcarbonated sour ale that's been in your fridge for 3 months, in which you might have a couple of problems, or 3 years.
It means you just need 2 of the glasses to hold it all.
That's right. That's right. I got through it. It worked.
Yeah.
But anyway. Beyond that, thank you all so much for watching. And as always, we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Cheers, everyone.